You are currently sitting in a room, perhaps surrounded by people you have called friends for a decade. Yet you feel an inexplicable, chilling sense of isolation. You mention a new ambition, a pivot in your career, a radical shift in your health, or a commitment to a higher level of discipline, and the atmosphere in the room instantly recalibrates. It isn't a celebratory shift. It is a defensive one. Someone immediately cracks a joke designed to bring you back to earth, effectively anchoring you to the version of you that makes them feel safe. Another person brings up a failure from 5 years ago, reminding you of your place. This is the moment of cold recognition. This is the moment you realize that your social circle is not a safety net. It is a meticulously constructed cage designed to keep you relatable, manageable, and mediocre. Most men spend their entire lives terrified of being the loner, but the elite, the architects of power, understand a dark truth that society is desperate to suppress. Your social circle is the primary tax on your potential. Today, we are moving beyond the surface. We are decoding the human nature behind social containment. We are opening the Machiavellian playbook and Carl Jung's The Shadow and the Social Mirror to explore the law of isolation, why the most dangerous version of you is the one who no longer needs permission from the herd to exist. If you have been feeling the weight of outgrowing your environment, pay close attention. We are about to dismantle the lie of loyalty that has been keeping you small. 1. The mechanics of the loyalty trap. We must first perform a forensic audit on the concept of loyalty. In the standard social economy, loyalty is rarely about mutual growth. Instead, it functions as a form of emotional insurance. Your friends do not necessarily want you to fail in a catastrophic sense, but they are pathologically terrified of you succeeding in a way that forces them to confront their own stagnation. This is the crab bucket effect translated into psychological warfare. When one crab attempts to scale the walls of the bucket, the others do not ignore it. They reach up and pull it back down into the huddle. They do this because your escape redefines their shared reality as a prison. In your personal life, this manifests through remember when stories or subtle "don't change on us" comments. They are weaponizing your history to sabotage your future. They want the version of you that was predictable. If you feel a stabbing sense of guilt for wanting to distance yourself, you must realize that this guilt is a programmed response, a social firmware update designed to keep the herd intact. Cutting people off is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of surgical necessity. If you are ready to stop being managed by the crowd and start managing your own destiny, go to the comments right now and type "Mission Over Mobes." This is a signal to yourself and the algorithm that you are moving past the need for group validation. Since this channel is dedicated to these hard truths, your likes and shares are the only way we bypass the censors of the mediocre. 2. Machiavelli's cold calculus of proximity. Niccolò Machiavelli, the preeminent master of power dynamics, understood that human beings are driven by interest, not by sentiment. He argued that proximity is not synonymous with allegiance. In your current circle, you likely have individuals who are only present because of nostalgic gravity, shared geography, shared schools, or shared traumas from an old job. Human nature dictates a gravitation toward the familiar because familiarity provides an illusion of safety. However, the elite know that familiarity is the primary enemy of excellence. Machiavelli's law of isolation suggests that to build an empire, one must first remove the noise of the common council. If you are constantly checking in with 5 people who are uninspired, cynical, or financially stagnant, your brain will subconsciously recalibrate its maximum potential to match theirs. You are essentially allowing a committee of the unaccomplished to vote on your future moves. The elite do not seek friends in the sentimental sense. They seek strategic alignment. They understand that a large, loose friend group is not a sign of status. It is a massive, unpatched security vulnerability in their life's architecture. 3. The information leak, social vulnerability, and data privacy. In the world of high-stakes power, every person with repeated access to you is a potential data leak. Consider the level of psychological detail your friends possess. They know your insecurities, your childhood traumas, your romantic failures, and your specific psychological triggers. In a romanticized world, this is called intimacy. In the cold reality of human nature, this is called information asymmetry. The elite maintain a sparse social landscape because they realize that every person in their inner circle is a potential point of failure. When you overshare your ambitions with people who have not earned that information through their own merit, you are diluting your internal drive. They provide you with a pat on the back before the victory is won, which tricks your brain's neurochemistry into thinking the work is already complete. Worse, if a relationship sours, they possess the map to your softest psychological spots. This is why the powerful are often described as distant or cold. They are not cold, they are simply guarded. They understand that access to their mind is a privilege that must be re-earned every single day, not a permanent right granted by the past. 4. The biological death of the drinking buddy. There is a brutal, non-negotiable distinction between a friend and an ally. A friend is someone you kill time with a partner in distraction. An ally is someone you kill goals with a partner in execution. The elite do not have drinking buddies. They have strategic partners. Imagine you are training for a monumental achievement, yet your social circle spends their weekends indulging in low-level distractions and escapism. Every time you decline an invitation to join their stagnation, they label you as obsessed, boring, or no fun. They are not actually concerned about your work-life balance. They are attacking the mirror you have become. Your discipline exposes their lack of it. Your movement exposes their stillness. An ally, conversely, would be the one pushing you to refine your strategy. If you do not have people in your life who make you feel like you aren't working hard enough, you do not have a circle. You have a cage. Type "trust no one blindly" in the comments if you have finally realized that shared history does not equal shared destiny. 5. Narrative theft and the remember when anchor. The most dangerous phrase in the social lexicon of the mediocre is "remember when." It is the primary tool of narrative theft. When you begin to make power moves, your old circle will instinctively try to pull you back to the version of you that was easier to manage. They do this because if they can keep you focused on who you were, they never have to confront the uncomfortable reality of who you are becoming. They want the version of you that was as lost and confused as they are. They are trying to write your story using old, discarded chapters. You must realize that you owe no one a version of yourself that no longer exists. The elite understand that growth is a process of constant molting, frequently shedding old identities, old habits, and old associates who no longer fit the new frame. 6. Strategic solitude and the Sigma reality. The term Sigma is often reduced to internet memes, but its core psychological reality is much darker and more practical. It is about the capacity for absolute self-regulation. Most men flee from silence because, in the silence, they are forced to face the massive gap between their current reality and their ultimate potential. They use the group as a high-volume noise machine to drown out the screaming voice of their own untapped ambition. The elite, however, run toward the silence. They use strategic solitude as a psychological weapon. When you are alone, you are uninterrupted. This is the space where your bank account starts to reflect your focus instead of your social debt. This is the only environment where you can hear your own hierarchy of values again, rather than the loud, conflicting, and often low-value opinions of people who aren't even successful in their own lives. Isolation is not a form of exile. It is a necessary infrastructure for greatness. 7. The protocol of the slow fade. If you are ready to apply the law of isolation, you must avoid the amateur mistake of being dramatic. Cutting people off with a manifesto, a long text, or a public announcement is a sign of immense weakness. It is a desperate cry for attention. It signals to the world that you are still emotionally reactive to the opinions of the group you are leaving. The Machiavellian approach is the slow fade. You do not offer lectures on why they are holding you back. You do not try to fix them. You simply become expensive. Your time is no longer free. You are busy. You are focused. You stop volunteering your plans or your victories. When the group chat pings with low-level gossip or complaints, you do not engage. You become a psychological black hole for their mediocre energy. Eventually, they will stop reaching out because you are no longer providing the dopamine hit of mutual stagnation. You haven't lost friends. You have filtered your environment with the precision of a surgeon. 8. The 4 tiers of human interaction, a forensic audit. To master your social landscape, you must categorize everyone in your orbit with cold, clinical objectivity. Human nature wants us to believe in the binary of friend or enemy, but the elite use a sophisticated 4-tier system. The proven ally, these are the rare few who have skin in the game. They challenge your blind spots rather than stroking your ego. They do not get jealous of your wins. They use your wins as a blueprint for their own. This circle should rarely exceed 2 or 3 people in a lifetime. The situational associate. These individuals are useful for a specific purpose, a business venture, a shared hobby, or a professional network. They are valuable, but they have zero access to your inner thoughts or long-term strategies. Keep them in the outer court. The nostalgic anchor. These are people from your past who are harmless but stagnant. They want to talk about the good old days because they have nothing happening in the current days. Limit access to them to once or twice a year. Do not let them influence your current mental frame. The social parasite. These are the most dangerous. They only contact you when they need to harvest your energy, your money, or your attention. They offer nothing but complaints and crises. These people are to be removed immediately. No explanation is required. No second chances are granted. 9. The absolute price of the throne. Machiavelli famously noted that the prince is always alone in the final moment of decision. This is not just a political observation, it is a metaphor for absolute accountability. As you ascend in status, wealth, or influence, you can no longer outsource your choices to a group vote. You are the only one who pays the price for your failures, so you must be the only one who dictates the strategy. King sits alone not because he is antisocial, but because there is simply no room for a +1 in the seat of ultimate responsibility. If you want to build an empire, whether that is a literal business, a family legacy, or a personal masterpiece, you must accept that the air gets thinner as you climb. You will have fewer friends, but the alliances you do keep will be forged in steel and shared interest. If you are ready to pay the price of the throne, type "throne over themes" in the comments right now. 10. Deconstructing internalized guilt and social control. The biggest obstacle to the law of isolation is internal. The voice that whispers that you are being a bad person or selfish for leaving people behind. You must recognize that this voice is not yours. It is the voice of deep-seated social conditioning. You have been programmed since birth to believe that loyalty means staying at the bottom of the bucket with everyone else. But real loyalty is to your potential. If you stay in a stagnant environment just to be a good friend, you are actually being an enemy to the man you were born to become. You are committing a slow-motion suicide of your own potential. Break the guilt cycle. Realize that by leveling up, you are providing a better service to the world than you ever could by remaining relatable to the uninspired. The elite don't feel guilty for outgrowing people. They feel a sense of duty to their own evolution. 11. The arithmetic of social debt and focus. Let us look at the cold arithmetic of isolation. Every pointless night out, every hour spent debating things you cannot control with people who do not care, and every emotional crisis you help a friend solve that they created for themselves. It is all a subtraction from your legacy. The elite appear isolated because they understand the astronomical cost of attention. They know that every person in their orbit taxes their mental bandwidth. They would rather have a quiet room and a sharp mind than a loud room and a dull focus. When you stop funding the social rituals that build nothing, your savings, your physical health, and your mental clarity will skyrocket. This is not a theory, it is a mathematical law of human nature. You cannot build a high-performance life on a low-performance social budget. 12. Elite manipulation in safe rooms, the hidden envy. Do not be fooled into thinking manipulation only happens in corporate boardrooms. It happens at Sunday dinners. It happens in the group chat among the boys. It happens whenever someone uses the mask of concern to hide their deep-seated envy. When a friend says, "I'm just worried you're working too hard," or "Don't forget where you came from," they aren't worried about your well-being. They are worried that your work ethic is making their laziness look inexcusable. This is the subtle art of emotional sabotage. By removing yourself from these safe rooms, you remove the influence of people who use affection as a leash. The elite know that the most dangerous enemies are not the ones across the battlefield, but the ones who have the right to hug you. 13. The law of scarcity, manufacturing authority through absence. In human nature, that which is plentiful is perceived as cheap, and that which is scarce is perceived as expensive. If you are always available, always ready to pick up the phone, always ready to hang out, always ready to give advice, you are signaling to the world that your time has zero market value. The elite use isolation to manufacture authority. By being difficult to reach, they ensure that when they do choose to speak, people listen with an intensity that is impossible to achieve in a state of constant overexposure. You move from being a background character in the lives of others to being the protagonist of your own story. This requires a level of social discipline that 99% of men will never possess. They are addicted to the likes, the check-ins, and the validation. The isolated man is only addicted to the result. 14. Biological tribes versus strategic reality, overriding instinct. We are biologically wired for tribes, but our modern tribes are fundamentally broken. In ancestral times, your tribe helped you hunt, gather, and defend against predators. In 2026, your tribe likely helps you procrastinate, consume useless content, and complain about the economy. You must override your biological urge for belonging with your strategic need for becoming. This internal conflict is where most people fail. They choose the immediate dopamine hit of a group laugh over the long-term profound satisfaction of a massive achievement. To enter the elite, you must be willing to endure the biological stress of being alone until you find a new tribe one, built on shared vision, high-stakes goals, and mutual excellence rather than mere proximity. 15. Carl Jung, the shadow and the social mirror. The great psychologist Carl Jung spoke extensively about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress to fit into the social hierarchy. Often, our social circles are the primary keepers of our shadow. They know our old weaknesses, our old embarrassments, and they subconsciously encourage them because it keeps us relatable and manageable for them. To integrate your shadow and become a complete, powerful individual, you must step away from the people who only know your fragmented, acceptable parts. Isolation is the laboratory where the self is integrated. You cannot become a whole man while being pulled in 10 different directions by people who want you to stay broken, predictable, and within the bounds of their comfort zone. 16. The financial freedom of the isolated man. Perform a cold audit of your bank statement. How much capital have you hemorrhaged on social obligations over the last 12 months? Weddings for people you haven't spoken to in years, birthday dinners at overpriced restaurants, nights out that you didn't even enjoy. The elites see this as a critical leak in the ship. By applying the law of isolation, you reclaim your capital. You invest that money into assets, into your business, into your health, and into your education. While your old circle is working jobs they hate to pay for a social life they find exhausting, you are building the wealth that will eventually buy your permanent freedom. Isolation is the ultimate wealth builder because it eliminates the mediocrity tax. 17. Defending against the smear campaign, narrative control. When you leave a circle, they will inevitably try to tell a story about you. They will say you changed, that you're too good for them now, or that you've lost your way. This is a desperate attempt to shame you back into the bucket. It is a smear campaign designed to protect their collective ego from the fact that you are moving upward. The Machiavellian response is simple: absolute silence. Do not defend yourself. Do not explain your reasons. Do not engage in the drama. Let your success be the only rebuttal they ever receive. When you move so far ahead that they can no longer even see your path from their vantage point, their stories become irrelevant noise. Your only job is to stay focused on the horizon. The moment you look back to argue, you have lost your momentum. 18. The power of no as a strategic social filter. The word no is the most powerful tool in the law of isolation. No, I can't come out tonight. No, I'm not interested in that venture. No, I don't want to talk about that person. Each no is a brick in the wall of your fortress. It signals to the world that you are the sole governor of your time and your energy. Eventually, the people who were only there for the yes, the people who were only there for what you could give them, will naturally fall away. What remains are the very few who respect your boundaries and your mission. Those are the only people worth keeping in your orbit. 19. Building the internal empire. The work in the dark. Isolation is not a void. It is a construction site. While the rest of the world is out chasing cheap dopamine and social validation, the isolated man is building his internal empire. He is reading the books others find boring. He is mastering the high-income skills others find too difficult. He is training his body to a level of elite performance while others are nursing hangovers. By the time he re-emerges into the world, he is unrecognizable. The friends he left behind will call it luck or privilege. He will know with a cold certainty that it was the inevitable result of the law of isolation. This is where the human nature decoder brand truly lives in the massive transformation that happens when no one is watching. The final selection and the architecture of the throne. As we reach the conclusion of this forensic analysis, it is time for a cold, final audit. This is not about being mean or cold-hearted. It is about being non-negotiable with your life's limited time. Look at your phone. Look at your last 10 conversations. If those people were removed from your life today, would your life get harder or would it simply get quieter? The room is going to get quiet. Let it. That quiet is the sound of your potential finally having enough room to breathe. You were never actually afraid of being alone. You were afraid of meeting yourself without the distraction of the crowd. Now, the meeting is in session. Stop being a worker in their emotional economy and start building your own. The path to the top is narrow for a reason. It was never meant to fit a mob. If you have made it to the end of this deep dive, you are part of the 1% who can handle the truth without getting defensive. Subscribe to Human Nature Decoder to continue your training. Since we are not monetized yet, your likes, shares, and comments are what allow us to keep decoding these dark truths for you. The silence is not your enemy, it is your throne. Don't stop here. Watch the next analysis on your screen to learn the next layer of power dynamics. Know what others fear. Become who others can't. Stay dangerous.